Disappearing Act. Detective Mike had been on the force for over 20 years, and he had seen his fair share of strange cases, but the latest one was the most puzzling of all. A famous magician named David Copper had disappeared in the middle of his act, right before a live audience. Mike had been called to investigate, and he knew that time was of the essence. He interviewed everyone involved in the show, from the stagehands to the other performers, but no one had seen or heard anything out of the ordinary. David Copper had simply vanished. As the days went on, Mike and his team combed through every piece of evidence they could find. They reviewed footage from the show, interviewed David's friends and family, and even searched his home for clues. But nothing seemed to add up. There was no motive, no evidence of foul play, and no indication of where David might have gone. Mike was at a loss. He had never encountered a case like this before, and he was starting to feel like he was running out of options. Then, one day, he received a phone call from a man claiming to be David Copper himself. The man said that he had staged his own disappearance as part of an elaborate trick, and that he was now ready to come forward and reveal the truth. Mike met with David, and the truth was even more shocking than he had expected. David had been struggling with his career, and he had come up with the idea of staging his own disappearance in order to drum up publicity. He had spent weeks planning the stunt, working with a team of experts to create an elaborate illusion that would fool even the most skeptical audience member. And it had worked. But now David was ready to face the consequences of his actions. He knew that what he had done was wrong, and he was prepared to face the music. Mike arrested David, but he couldn't help but admire the man's creativity and ingenuity. David had managed to pull off one of the greatest disappearing acts of all time, and he had done it all on his own. As the trial went on, David's name became synonymous with the art of magic. He had managed to create a spectacle that captivated audiences around the world, and he had done it with nothing more than his own wit and talent. In the end, David was sentenced to community service and forced to make amends for his actions. But Mike knew that he would never forget the disappearing act that had captured the world's attention. It was a testament to the power of magic, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest tricks are the ones that leave us scratching our heads for years to come. As for Detective Mike, he continued to work on other cases, but the case of David Copper's disappearing act remained etched in his mind. He knew that there was something special about that case, something that he couldn't quite put his finger on. Years went by, and David had long since completed his community service and returned to performing. He had even written a book about his experience, and it had become a bestseller. One day, Mike received an invitation to attend one of David's shows. He hesitated at first, unsure of what to expect, but something in him felt compelled to go, to see if there was anything more to the story than he had realized. As he sat in the audience, watching David perform his illusions, he felt a sense of awe and wonder wash over him. The magic was real, and it was happening right before his eyes. And And then, in the middle of the show, David turned to the audience and revealed a secret. He had not just staged his own disappearance as a stunt, but he had actually vanished for a brief moment during the performance. The audience gasped in amazement, and Mike was left speechless. David had pulled off another disappearing act, one that was even more astounding than the first. And as Mike left the theatre, he couldn't help but feel that there was something magical about the whole experience. He knew that he would never forget the disappearing act, and that it would continue to inspire him for years to come. Because sometimes the greatest illusions are the ones that make us question what is real and what is not, and leave us with a sense of wonder that never fades.